Dragon Ball Super Review, Manga Chapter 101, a big battle brewing? Dragon Ball Super Chapter 101 has just dropped and it looks like we are finally moving towards some new big moments. But what has exactly happened in 2024's first Dragon Ball Super manga chapter? Goten and Trunks are still going with the superhero gig. It seems as though the superhero events have not changed whatsoever the expectations for both Goten and Trunks, since the two hybrid Saiyans are seen fighting some evildoers during the first steps of Chapter 101. More intriguing than anything is the fact that the chapter actually starts with some Carmine and Android 15 shots, until they stumble upon the very same Goten and Trunks. Beforehand, Carmine admitted that they barely had any funds whatsoever to again proceed with the revival of the Red Ribbon Army. Nevertheless, the biggest obstacle in the way is the fact that they are terrified of Gohan and Piccolo now, which is why they actually recruit Goten and Trunks to fight Gohan. How? Well, since Goten and Trunks don't seem to know the identities of neither Carmine nor Android 15, the villain comes up with a story of an evil organization and so on. And given that Trunks is still trying to impress Mai, he decides to buy on the whole charade. Obviously, the plan doesn't really seem very promising, and for how smart Trunks is supposed to be, he doesn't really question that much the whole story. Vegeta tries to teach Broly how to use his power. Broly is crazy powerful, we are all aware of that fact. What we also know is that the Saiyan has been training hard in order to not lose control, much like it happened during the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. However, that fear is hindering his progress as a warrior, and Vegeta is very aware of that. This time around is the turn of Vegeta to fight Broly, and every step of the way he just tries to mock and antagonize him, so he uses a little bit of his rage, but Broly refuses. Whis believes there is something changing within the Saiyan, but the fact remains that he cannot even control the Super Saiyan transformation at will at this point. The fight between the two of them proceeds with Vegeta mostly toying with Broly, even going Super Saiyan in order to show him how much power he is missing, given that he refuses to give in to his rage. At this point, it really doesn't look like Broly is aiming at a power-up like controlling Divine Ki or even canonizing the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, but simply being able to use the power of his full power Super Saiyan form at will. Until he is able to do that on his own, it really doesn't seem wise to expect anything big from him. Black Frieza, still a hot topic. Vegeta and Broly sparring is a cool thing, but what's also cool is Black Frieza, and Chilai does remind the warriors that other than being cool, he is actually extremely dangerous. The fact remains that the last time we saw the villain, he completely humiliated both Goku and Vegeta, and every bit of effort put into their training should actually be aimed towards trying to match his power. Goku obviously acknowledges that Frieza's power is actually nightmarish nowadays, but at the same time he expresses admiration at how strong the villain has grown with some training. It really looks like Goku sees Frieza as another stepping stone for his career, as a fighter rather than an actual evil to destroy. Goku shuts down any chance of becoming a god of destruction. While discussing Black Frieza and his power, Beerus tells Goku that he's always going to find an adversary that is stronger than him. Nevertheless, the god of destruction introduces an interesting scenario for Goku. If the Saiyan manages to surpass his power as a god of destruction, then Beerus himself will recommend Goku as a worthy candidate for the god of destruction job. So far, we've seen characters such as Toppo as part of that program to introduce new gods of destruction, so it definitely is a position much more accessible than that of an angel. Nevertheless, Goku quickly dismisses the idea, stating that he has no interest whatsoever in becoming a god of destruction, and it certainly tracks. Goku is not suited for the life of a god of destruction, since he would lose his current freedom, which allows him to face any new rivals under any circumstances. Plus, Goku doesn't really buy the whole pure destruction thing. Could Vegeta be an option then? The conversation is definitely yet to happen, and given that now he is Beerus' student, it is actually unexpected that Beerus offered the job to Goku. In any case, it also seems unlikely that Vegeta would say yes to it, but it's something we'll need to keep track of. A surprising look to Beast Gohan. When Goku first unlocked the UI, it took quite some time after the events of the Tournament of Power for him to be able to use the technique at will yet again. However, this is not the case for Gohan. Following the events of Carmine fishing for some unexpected help from both Goten and Trunks, the two teenagers realize they may be in for some trouble since they unexpectedly are approaching Gohan's house. Upon reaching their destination, both Goten and Trunks change their outfits but obviously refuse to take action even after Carmine suddenly fires some shots towards Gohan's house. To our surprise, Gohan's immediate reaction is to transform into his beast state in order to intimidate Carmine. Yes, we already have the cozy beast Gohan, and it certainly ain't a bad look. After these events, Gohan recognizes Goten and Trunks and starts questioning them about why they are in the company of one of the major villains within the Red Ribbon Army, and that's exactly when Goku interrupts them. Beast Gohan versus UI Goku incoming? Goku and Vegeta are finally able to sense Gohan's ki after he transforms into his beast state. Apparently, it looks like the first time Gohan used the beast form they couldn't sense his power since they were totally immersed in their own fight. After all, Goku and Vegeta fought each other basically for the same amount of time it took Gohan and the rest to beat Cell Max. But what's very intriguing about all this situation is that an editor's note hints at what may be happening next. Goku challenging his own son in order to see how strong he's grown. Let's not forget that Goku's main objective in life is basically to find strong opponents in order to measure himself and keep growing strong for as long as he can. It has certainly been way too long since Gohan was remotely close to Goku's power, so it wouldn't come as a surprise if the father wanted to test the son after sensing the sudden spike in his power level. Still, Goku potentially wanting to fight Gohan and Gohan accepting his father's challenge are two entirely different things. Gohan's never been one to test his power for the sake of it, so he very well could refuse his father's proposal, which would honestly be a bummer. Who doesn't want to see a little sparring between UI Goku and Beast Gohan? Afterthoughts. Overall, Chapter 101 flows really well as a way to connect the end of Dragon Ball Super Superhero with the upcoming new story arc. Obviously, the biggest question mark as of right now is whether Goku and Gohan will fight each other, but there's other stuff to follow, such as Broly's difficulties with controlling his power and what really seems to be the case of operations of the Red Ribbon Army for now. Therefore, Chapter 102 is definitely something to look forward to, since it will paint a better picture of which of the slightly introduced topics in 101 will actually develop further.